100 famous quotes from Albert Einstein. Not everything that can be counted, counts, and not everything that counts, can be counted. My religion consists of a humble admiration of the illimitable superior spirit, who reveals himself in the slight details we are able to perceive with our frail and feeble mind. Make everything as simple as possible, but not simpler. Love is a better teacher than duty. Memory is deceptive because it is colored by today's events. Morality is of the highest importance, but for us, not for God. Most of the fundamental ideas of science are essentially simple, and may, as a rule, be expressed in a language comprehensible to everyone. Most people say that it is the intellect which makes a great scientist. They are wrong, it is character. Nationalism is an infantile disease. It is the measles of mankind. Never do anything against conscience even if the state demands it. Never lose a holy curiosity. Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. It has become appallingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity. No amount of experimentation can ever prove me right, a single experiment can prove me wrong. It is only to the individual that a soul is given. Joy in looking and comprehending is nature's most beautiful gift. It was the experience of mystery, even if mixed with fear, that engendered religion. It stands to the everlasting credit of science that by acting on the human mind it has overcome man's insecurity before himself and before nature. It should be possible to explain the laws of physics to a barmaid. It is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge. Pure mathematics is, in its way, the poetry of logical ideas. Knowledge of what is does not open the door directly to what should be. Once we accept our limits, we go beyond them. Logic will get you from A to B, imagination will take you everywhere. It is a miracle that curiosity survives formal education. It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer. It gives me great pleasure indeed to see the stubbornness of an incorrigible nonconformist warmly acclaimed. Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Let every man be respected as an individual and no man idolized. It is strange to be known so universally and yet to be so lonely. The gift of fantasy has meant more to me than my talent for absorbing positive knowledge. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. Technological progress is like an axe in the hands of a pathological criminal. The man of science is a poor philosopher. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. The high destiny of the individual is to serve rather than to rule. Perfection of means and confusion of ends seem to characterize our age. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. The faster you go, the shorter you are. The environment is everything that isn't me. The distinction between the past, present and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. The difference between stupidity and genius is that genius has its limits. The devil has put a penalty on all things we enjoy in life. Either we suffer in health or we suffer in soul or we get fat. The hardest thing to understand in the world is the income tax. Isn't it strange that I who have written only unpopular books should be such a popular fellow? One may say the eternal mystery of the world is its comprehensibility. Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. Only one who devotes himself to a cause with his whole strength and soul can be a true master. For this reason mastery demands all of a person. Only two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity, and I'm not sure about the former. Our task must be to free ourselves by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty. Sometimes one pays most for the things one gets for nothing. People love chopping wood. In this activity one immediately sees results. Solitude is painful when one is young, but delightful when one is more mature. Politics is for the present, but an equation is for eternity. The attempt to combine wisdom and power has only rarely been successful, and then only for a short while. Reading, after a certain age, diverts the mind too much from its creative pursuits. Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. Science is a wonderful thing if one does not have to earn one's living at it. Science without religion is lame, religion without science is blind. Small is the number of people who see with their eyes and think with their minds. A table, a chair, a bowl of fruit and a violin, what else does a man need to be happy? Peace cannot be kept by force, it can only be achieved by understanding. Common sense invents and constructs no less than its own field than science does in its domain. It is, however, in the nature of common sense not to be aware of this situation. Common sense is the collection of prejudices acquired by age 18. Concern for man and his fate must always form the chief interest of all technical endeavors. Never forget this in the midst of your diagrams and equations. Confusion of goals and perfection of means seems, in my opinion, to characterize our age. Do not worry about your difficulties in mathematics. I can assure you mine are still greater. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. Gravitation is not responsible for people falling in love. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. Force always attracts men of low morality. God always takes the simplest way. God does not play dice. All that is valuable in human society depends upon the opportunity for development accorded the individual. Everyone should be respected as an individual, but no one idolized. An empty stomach is not a good political advisor. A man should look for what is, and not for what he thinks should be. A perfection of means, and confusion of aims, seems to be our main problem. A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. A question that sometimes drives me hazy: am I or are the others crazy? When you are courting a nice girl, an hour seems like a second. When you sit on a red-hot cinder, a second seems like an hour. That's relativity. All religions, arts and sciences are branches of the same tree. Before God we are all equally wise, and equally foolish. As far as the laws of mathematics refer to reality, they are not certain, and as far as they are certain, they do not refer to reality. Anger dwells only in the bosom of fools. Any intelligent fool can make things bigger and more complex. It takes a touch of genius, and a lot of courage to move in the opposite direction. Any man who can drive safely while kissing a pretty girl is simply not giving the kiss the attention it deserves. Anyone who doesn't take truth seriously in small matters cannot be trusted in large ones either. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. The monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind. Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. I think and think for months and years. 99 times, the conclusion is false. The 100th time I am right. I used to go away for weeks in a state of confusion. I want to know all God's thoughts, all the rest are just details. If people are good only because they fear punishment, and hope for reward, then we are a sorry lot indeed. If the facts don't fit the theory, change the facts. If we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research, would it? If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Thank you for watching the video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and follow us for more updates.